Warning, this presentation will piss most people off. If you're one of those people who wants to keep your head buried in the sand about the reality of open relationships, please leave this page now. Viewer discretion is advised. If you're still watching this, it's because you want truth. You hate BS and wasting your precious time. That's terrific because believe me, so do I. I want reality. My name is Lawrence and by the end of this video, you'll join thousands of others who call me the Chopra of alternative relationships, and I'm going to let you in on insane secrets about sex and marriage that family values proponents are terrified you'll find out. Because when you discover this secret, they will lose their hostile grips on your mind and your genitals. It's a dirty secret that will immediately change the way you see human relationships and human behavior forever. And it will empower you with the ability to communicate your deepest, darkest, most sensual desires, even the ones that you are most terrified of experiencing. Those desperate secrets that, if other people only knew about you, would leave you powerless and lonely forever. So imagine for a minute that you could communicate these desires without fear of rejection, without any drama, without any shame, and without risking hurting yourself or somebody you love because of these desires. I'll reveal a map that's in tune with the reality of sex and life. Even if you're confused about relationships, you have no idea what you really want, even if you're lonely, afraid, or feel like you're just getting too old to figure this stuff out. If you listen to what I have to say, like a growing group of people already have, you'll be surrounded by like-minded people who are just as curious as you are about how to have healthy, open relationships. Why? Because the worst nightmare of conservative family values has finally been born into existence, and it's amazing news for anybody interested in having sustainable open relationships. Who am I to declare such a day? And why is the family values nightmare going to lead you to relationship mecca? Like I said, my name is Lawrence Lanoff. From the New York Times best-selling author Neil Strauss's new book, The Truth, an uncomfortable book about relationships. And I'm in his book because I am the master of open relationships. And soon, you too will see why I'm considered one of the country's foremost experts on successful open relationships. And in order for me to teach you how you're going to open the door to your open lifestyle, I have to tell you a story about how I arrived here talking to you. Like so many things in real life, it's a circuitous path. Listen, if you've ever been afraid of being left by your partner, what I'm about to tell you may trigger feelings of desperate fear and indignation in you. I wasn't always an open relationship Chopra. In fact, I had my head far up my ass. I remember the day that I discovered the real truth about monogamous relationships. It was a beautiful fall day in New York City. I was on my way to surprise my girlfriend for our anniversary. I had a spring in my step because she was hands down the sexiest woman I had ever been in relationship with. And she was all about monogamy and white picket fences. And I knew that if I wanted to keep her around, I had to pledge my faithfulness to her. She'd been cheated on before, so she was still hurt and protective and not wanting to open up her trust. My heart was devastated, she said, so I really need to trust you. And wanting to be a good guy, I said, of course you can trust me. And even though I had opportunities to explore with other women, I didn't. I remained faithful, even though our relationship had some problems. I was sure that if I just showed her I was a good guy, everything would be fine. And just as I rounded the corner and came up her block with a beautiful bouquet of flowers in my hand, I saw this beautiful couple walking down the street, arm in arm, laughing. And I thought, in the distance, what a beautiful, happy couple that is. When they were about 20 feet from me, I realized that this amazing couple was my girlfriend and her new lover. my best friend. And she looked at me and said, "Hey." We all stood there awkwardly. And then she said, "Nice flowers." I said, "They're for you, for our anniversary." I felt so low, it was like I was stuck to the underside of a snail, slowly slithering across the hot pavement with my red, humiliated face going first. I thought I couldn't go any lower. But that's when she said, "Aw, thank you for the flowers." She yanked them out of my hand like she was pulling a children's sucker from a sucker. "Thanks, they're beautiful," she said. And then they turned and walked away. Looking over her shoulder, she said, "Bye." I couldn't catch my breath for almost 20 minutes as I sat on a stoop, talking to myself. I felt like I had hours to think, to really feel ashamed, and to make a decision that would change everything. I was so angry. I'm a freaking grown man, a guy who loves women, who spent years studying tantra and squirting and all these ways to make a woman feel great. And I was the guy who taught other men how to make love to women in a way where she came back for more and more and more. And in 3 seconds, my best friend and my girlfriend made me feel like I know nothing about relationships. I snapped out of it when cops came by and asked me what was going on, that they had a complaint about a homeless guy on a stoop talking to himself about some girl. "What are you doing here?" they asked. "I'm waiting for my girlfriend. I want her back. It's our 1-year anniversary, and I just saw her arm in arm with my best friend." That's when I heard the cop say to his partner under his breath, "Either this guy's crazy or he's a chump. And as far as I'm concerned, a chump gets what he deserves." Then they turned back to me and said, "Get the F out of here. It's private property and you are trespassing, chump." That was the lowest point in my adult life, or so I thought, but it led me to where I am today, a relationship expert, an open relationship expert. However, despite knowing that she was cheating on me, I guess I didn't feel it deeply enough because I needed to experience one really embarrassing, horrific moment to really get me on my path. Because my best friend called me up and he said he wanted to talk. We were out at a bar, and after a bunch of stupid small talk, at one point he turned to me and he said, "Bro, I have a confession to make." And that's when my worst fear came true. He said, "You know, I've been sleeping with her for almost as long as you have. She said she didn't want to be tied down by you, and you were trying to tie her down. Nobody wants to be treated like property. She wants to be free. She wants 2 boyfriends. And frankly, bro, I'm cool with that." For 5 grueling minutes, I listened to him yammer on like a cartoon. And then he looked at me and he said, "Hey, you okay?" I took a deep breath and I said defiantly, "I'm fine." But I wasn't fine. My head was spinning. I was confused. But why? My best buddy was fine with the arrangement, but I was defeated. I mean, she went around me for almost a year. I spent nights not sleeping, twisting and turning, feeling pure anxiety in my body. I knew that I was at a crossroads when it came to me and relationships. I went for an early morning walk in the brisk city air, and I could do one of 3 things. And only one would be the right choice. Number 1, I could blame her. I could hate her. I could become that guy, you know exactly who I'm talking about, I could be talking to you, fueled by the fear of relationship rejection. Number 2, I could blame myself and I could become that guy who hates himself for attracting these kinds of lying and cheating partners to me. Or 3, I could make the choice I did. The choice to learn the truth about evolution, humans, culture, and sex. And why all people say one thing and do another. What they really want from their partners. And finally, why nice guys and good women get cheated on over and over and over again. And that is when I discovered the rock swallows. Rock swallows sexually behave more like humans behave. And that's when I cracked open my laptop and I got to work researching the real truth about sex and relationships. But quickly I got frustrated and then angry. All over the internet I found books and articles and videos from so-called relationship experts not being in healthy drama-free relationships themselves, but claiming that they had the answer, which really pisses me off. Or I saw stuff from conservative organizations talking about the evils of sex out of wedlock and how desiring another person sexually would lead you to hell, and that was a good thing. And gurus claiming to have the secret of sexual liberation in their pants. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't want to learn from repressed gurus and relationship wannabes. And I didn't want to learn to hate myself, waiting to get my rewards one day in heaven. I wanted to learn how to have adult conversations about sex and relationships, truthful discussions about what I really, really want, to meet people who were questioning the white picket fence myth of finding the one and living happily ever after, who wanted to live life here and now with real people with real desires. Only when that happened would I feel like I was a sexual human in a world where alive, awake, and turned on humans seemed to be in short supply. The months were a blur of relationship revelations, as everything I believed about sex and monogamous relationships were smashed with the wrecking ball of reality. I realized that if I wanted to discover the truth about relationships, it would mean taking a long look at some of my oldest, most sacred beliefs about humans and sex and rock swallows. The first idea I would have to murder was a big one. The idea that humans are naturally a monogamous species, and that sex had to be holy, sacred, and missionary only. I saw one simple statistic that blew that one out of the water. The sheer volume of porn searches every day on a famous search engine will blow your mind. And furthermore, if humans don't naturally like sex, how did the population of the world double in the last 50 years? You don't double the population by only having wholly monogamous sex with one person. And why is it that the women's sex toy industry is a growing industry that's growing so fast it's making the express train look slow? And one of the fastest growing porn markets? The answer is easy. It's because humans don't like sex at all. They love it. They need it. They crave sex. And that craving that you feel in your genitals, that craving that quickens your breath, that desire that makes you feel ashamed, that's the most normal thing ever. The truth is, most people walk around every day horny as you know what, fantasizing about sex with other people other than their primary partners, waiting with bated breath for a guy or a girl to come along and fulfill every wild sexual fantasy that they have, fantasizing and often acting out of their deepest, most instinctual desires. So if that's true, then why aren't you having the kinds of relationships you truly desire? Why aren't you asking your partner for what you want? Because I know that no matter how much we want to have sex with more than one person at a time sometimes, we remain stuck in our old human beliefs, ashamed to admit our desires to ourselves, much less to our partners. We feel guilty and ashamed for being human. And that's crazy. Like our deeply desiring other people makes us somehow bad partners, and even worse, humans. And then we are stuck in our feelings of emptiness and failure and relationship inadequacy, never, ever, ever, ever admitting to ourselves or our partners. And that ends in a long, lonely, painful despair or a brutal divorce, because someone was discovered to have been cheating, often for years or decades, and sometimes with their best friends. Why? There are 3 reasons. Reason 1 is the stuff we've been taught about sex having to be special, sacred, and only one way. Frankly, that just doesn't match statistics or reality. And as a result, we end up terrified of our most natural sexual desires. And most people will probably die before ever fulfilling any of their deepest wants, needs, or sexual desires, feeling like they're broken, for having private fantasies about coworkers and naughty thoughts about random strangers, for watching porn. In fact, there is a veritable outbreak of the medical diagnosis of sexual addiction for tens of thousands of normal men and women. Maybe it's just me, but I don't think you can be addicted to something that is absolutely necessary for human survival. Without sex, we humans immediately become extinct. That ain't addiction. That's some not so pretty reality. So in my humble opinion, the distinction of sexual addiction is made up bullshit intended to keep you lonely, desperate, self-hating, and afraid of being a sexual human. A normal sexual human. Reason 2, that the biggest relationship nightmare is to be cheated on. People are petrified of being lied to or being taken for chumps. And the script is so predictable. You're cheated on, you break up. It's horrible and everybody is unhappy. And then there's the most important reason when it comes to sex, lust, and pure physical pleasure. Reason number 3. People are seeking and having alternative, clandestine, secret relationships all over the world every day. And we always have. And that's why the Ashley Madison website hack was so devastating for so many people. Tons of people searched for their partner's name and they found it in the leaked documents. And you would think that would make people never want to be on a site like Ashley Madison ever again. But you would be incorrect. More people than ever are joining the site because now they know there's a place where they can meet like-minded people who want alternative relationships. You see, people want to talk to others and share their secret pain of wanting to love, connect, and have sex with more than one. They just lack a common language to talk about it openly. Listen, I didn't discover this open relationship roadmap by accident. It was over 2 years of researching, learning, and testing ideas. I talked to experts, and from that, I put together a done-for-you system that will almost guarantee your success when it comes to sex, reality, and open relationships. As a result, this knowledge is like the holy grail of relationship reality that can work for just about anyone interested in healthy, open, or alternative relationships. Even your regular relationships, monogamous relationships, this would make a very powerful difference with. And you would be able to work this out because I interviewed evolutionary psychology professors. I interviewed sex industry workers. I interviewed porn stars, male and female strippers. And I listened to them all about the men and women in monogamous relationships who came to them looking for something else. I looked at actual porn viewing habits of men and women and their search engine requests. I was shocked at how normal it was for women and men to regularly want to have sex with more than one partner and actively seek other connections and clandestine relationships out. And then, with all of that buzzing around in my brain, I sat down at my computer and boiled everything I'd learned and discovered into 10 powerful principles, techniques, and conversations which unleash your relationships towards reality and awaken the natural hunger for more love, connection, and freedom. What I've created is a relationship manifesto for drama-free relationships, open relationships, relationships that stimulate mind and body. Remember my best friend? I told him about it at lunch, and he looked at me like a piranha looks at toes in a river. Give me a download of what you want, man. Give me what you learned right now. I laughed until I saw the craze in his eyes of excitement. It was at this moment that I felt like I was in control, because once again, I had something that he desperately wanted. But I wasn't angry. It was exactly the opposite. Now that I was seeing reality clearly, his behaviors made perfect sense to me. For the first time in my life, I learned the truth about humans and sex. For one thing, I learned the infinite model mindset and the power of expanding our ability and capacity for pleasure and love. So how could I say no to my best friend? The next day, I gave him the information and I got a text from him with the picture of a woman he met. And she was so excited by what he shared with her, she also wanted to meet me. The selfie was a woman who had a smile sprawling her entire face, like she'd won the relationship reality lottery. And in the next selfie, she was blowing me a kiss. The text was in all caps with a huge smiley emoticon saying, "Yes, yes, yes." People could sense something different about my friend, that inner confidence that comes from asking for what you really want. And then he shared my ideas. And again, people raved about how incredible and simple it was to meet like-minded people everywhere. And how a whole new relationship universe just opened up once you learn these few simple techniques and ideas. And these ideas give other people permission to treat you as a sexual human. No shame, no holding back, and no regrets. My best friend called my efforts the open relationship blueprint, and it stuck because that's what this is. The secret principles of how to open up your mind and your relationships, which brings us to right now and brings us to you learning the open relationship blueprint too. But before we go any further, you need to understand this isn't just some random knowledge or pony trick. It's a way of life, truly. And also, once you learn to release your jealousy and shame, you too can have relationships this secret way. You'll be able to share more intense, pleasurable, connected, and erotic experiences on a regular basis with people who want to play. And I'm sure this sounds surreal, but it isn't magic. It's reality. And evolutionary psychology. And a full upgrade of your beliefs about sex, humans, and relationships, and life. It's evolution because you are wired to tap directly into your erotic imagination of what's possible. Listen, suppose I tell you you have to change your mind to have all the depth, relationships, and great sex you desire. I mean, there is a limit, but it's much bigger than you think, which is why you need to know about the release or lack of release of dopamine in long-term relationships, monogamous relationships. Dopamine is released when we experience new things. If you have ever watched The Bachelor and you want to know a secret, then you know that when the producers want the couples to fall in love, they give them the most exciting, dangerous dates together. Because dopamine slathers your brain during exciting experiences, and it's common for two people to fall madly in love when they do these things together. Dopamine keeps us motivated to move through the world and learn to survive. New relationships, excitement, and energy is the release of dopamine and pleasure, and it keeps us alive. But it only lasts a finite period of time. And if you are in a long-term relationship, you may begin to feel like there's something wrong with you, like you're doing something wrong. Or, and I've heard this a lot, that we lost our attraction and our in-love feelings for our partners. And so many people destroy perfectly good, loving relationships because they don't experience dopamine anymore. The Open Relationship Blueprint teaches you how to take advantage of our need for dopamine, even if you are in a long-term relationship. And now I'm going to let you in on a big secret of Las Vegas. Vegas is built on the human need for dopamine. Casinos know that dopamine is released when you pull a slot machine handle and wait. It's exciting. Big gamblers didn't build Vegas. Nope. Ordinary people in crappy relationships, desperate to break the boredom and monotony, by getting a shot of dopamine every time they pull the lever. And that hit of dopamine is what motivates every human on this planet. And without even knowing it, I discovered the powerful release of dopamine is exactly what happens when you open your mind to human sexuality. When you open your mind to open relationships. When you allow dopamine and other reward chemicals to flood your system regularly. Those chemicals keep us feeling young and confident and capable. Dopamine is our internal fountain of youth. This is what happens when your relationships open up. So, are you ready to feel what it's like to have more fun than pulling a freaking handle? Are you ready for beautiful, open, trust-filled relationships that are based in the reality of human behavior? Are you ready right now to have a mindset of total quality and abundance when it comes to relationships? Are you ready to feel freedom instead of tightness and chains around your genitals, instead of guilt and sexual shame for your desires, because you say yes to life? If you're still here, I think we both know the answer is a pretty obvious yes to change. The Open Relationship Blueprint is the result of over 2 years of non-stop, intensive research, in-person testing and work. Hard work I did so you don't have to. You see, the Open Relationship Blueprint isn't a course. It's not an educational program where you need to do a lot of work, where I tell you to change who you are. Instead, it's a collection of almost magical, done-for-you belief system changes and ideas which seed automatically and automatically reprogram into your mind new ways of thinking, believing, and relating, especially when it comes to relationships. Here's just a tiny sample of the secrets you're going to learn and the amazing results you're going to almost automatically receive when you discover the Open Relationship Blueprint today. You'll learn the infinite technique. Use this to condition yourself and your partners to become unreasonably turned on by open, honest discussions about desire. Be careful. Using this in a public space has been known to make people think you have some special superpower. Next, you'll learn the don't be an ass modifier technique. How to tickle the emotional centers so people want to be in your personal relationship circle. You'll feel like you won the relationship lottery too when you learn this next one. I call it the jealousy jumper. This method is so easy to do, but it's so powerful because it allows you to create a feedback loop of pleasure to replace the disempowering feelings of jealousy that most people have a hard time with, almost automatically jumping over your jealousy. Next, you'll discover the secret power of difficult conversations, to know exactly what to say and how to say it so you too can begin creating the kinds of relationships you want. This next piece is advanced and mind-blowing. And I call it the Safer Sex Elevator Speech for creating the lifestyle that you desire. Simply using this method will instantly help you handle all the deeply buried anger and fear people have towards sex, and especially towards open relationships. The Open Relationship Exposure Method allows you to communicate your deepest, most hidden fantasies. Understand, use this method, and you'll know things about each other that you both might be scared to admit, which is why I'm also going to teach you how to release your hidden guilt and shame. And that is just the tip of the relationship iceberg. You'll also discover how to tear down the genital control genie and see how easy it is to really be open, honest, and free. And the body boundary and how to ask for what you want confidently. Plus, you'll get the honest truth about lying. Know this, and you will never be cheated on again. And that's not even half of what I'm giving you with this incredibly powerful blueprint. I don't even have time to tell you about the ownership rip-off method of turning a bad habit into a pleasure party, how to activate the uber-powerful sexual reward system, and how to have almost anybody begging you to teach it to them, or the friends into playmates method. Big warning, only use this if you are sick of being friends without benefits. Once you do this, there is no going back, and there is so much more. Now, can you feel the dopamine, the excitement, the sheer excitement of getting a part of your life handled flat? To discover this incredible power is to have the kind of relationships you really want. The power to unleash your passion. How much is it worth to you to have this at your fingertips? How much is it worth to crack the relationship code? How much is it worth to upgrade your beliefs, to ultra accelerate your learning? How much is it worth to you to know that you can fix almost any relationship problem with your partners just by whispering a 6 magic word sentence? I don't want to bring you down here, but I see so many lonely, unhappy people who are pissed off and miserable every day because they don't even know how to have even one relationship, much less more than one. People getting browbeaten and nagged to death in sexless relationships, genitals encased in social cement, and they waste hundreds of thousands of dollars trying to fix a relationship in couples therapy and failing miserably. Even worse are the people who complain they can't find any good men or any good women out there. So think about that for a second. That's the power of accelerated learning. What do you think would be a reasonable price for the Open Relationship Blueprint? What do you think would be a fair price to be in control of your sexual life and your relationship life and to have all the power to choose to be happy and have a healthy sex life? Come on. I bet you'd say that's $200 or more would be totally fair to change your relationship love life forever. In most cities, that's the cost of one couple's therapy session. Heck, I'd bet you think that was cheap to never have to feel that fear and anxiety about asking for what you want sexually. But you know what? I'm not a hugely rich guy like Trump. Like you, I have to sing for my supper. And I know that even when you want something so much, and you know it's a total steal at the price you're paying, sometimes doubt and shame and guilt and blame and inaction make it so that you just can't give yourself what you need. Which is why I'm going to take the risk here. You see, my mission in life is to give regular men and women the upgraded tools they need to experience incredible sexual energy, life force, and power. Selfishly, I want to have more open-minded playmates and friends too. And if I have to take a hit to my wallet a bit to make the world juicier, then that's just fine by me. So because you've shared your precious time with me, you're not going to be paying $297. I'm not going to ask you to invest $197. For you, I'm setting the price of the Open Relationship Blueprint at just one single payment of $97. And if you take action right now, I'll give you a whopping 50% off that already discounted price. Simply click the button below right now and you'll get the complete program for the discounted price of just $47. That's my immediate action discount because I want you to take action right now. I know what it's like to walk around and think about it, but instead, I'm going to reward you for taking action right now. And just to take away every excuse you might have not to give yourself this, and to the dozens of potential awesome relationships in your life that you're going to share these ideas with, I'm going to back up everything I've said with my cool human guarantee. I'm assuming that if you've come this far, you are a cool human. And I know that I'm a cool human, so let's do business that way. Here's how this will work. Enroll in the Open Relationship Blueprint program right now. Use the material. See for yourself how easy it is to create the kind of lifestyle you want using these proven principles and techniques. If you don't think the program is at least worth double what you're paying today, just contact my customer support service at support@tantra-x.com anytime in the next 60 days, and you'll get every dime back as fast as we can. No questions asked, zero drama, zero hassle. So why am I being so chill? Because I'm a sexual human just like you, who's fed up with my life being dictated by political people who do the same things in their lives as everybody else, but just lie about it and shame other people and blame others about it, pretending that they don't do the exact same things that everybody else does. And I want you to experience this incredible power, energy, and joy that flows from open relationships and the open mindset, which will make you more open to life in general. And openness is the one thing you can control that can make an immediate difference, and I mean this, an immediate difference in the quality of your life today. And if I have to put myself out there a bit to help you, I will gladly do that. It is worth it to me. And all you have to do is click the button below. With your special discount, you'll get the complete open relationship blueprint for just $47. We already agreed that the open relationship blueprint is worth at least $200 by itself, so that's a great deal. But then there's also, you're getting the keys to the open relationship mindset, which sells itself for $97. But by using your special action discount today, you'll get everything for just $47. All you have to do to take advantage of this amazing deal is click the big yellow button below this video right now. And then fill in your payment details using a credit card, debit card, or PayPal on the next page. And once you do that, you'll be almost immediately sent your special login credentials. So you can access the open relationship blueprint on your phone, on your tablet, on your computer, anywhere you want, anytime you need it. Click the button below right now. Use the beliefs, methods, and techniques and scripts I've given you. Experience for yourself what it is like to have the kinds of relationships you really want without hurting anybody. In fact, with them feeling happy. Experience how much fun you can have with other people like you, open people, fun people. Even if you're in a monogamous relationship, I guarantee you will learn something to immediately get your relationship or your marriage back on track. I want you to feel a level of adventure most humans will never get to experience, to unleash the power of dopamine in your life. You're going to be amazed how much your life changes once you learn this, how your social circles just look at you differently, and they'll ask you what's different about you. Okay, it's time for action. And you really have just two very different options right now, leading to two very different experiences. Option one is to leave this page without enrolling in the program. I think you already know what will happen down this road. It's harder and harder and harder to move forward. It's that feeling of failure and inadequacy that comes when you can't move forward. That sense of being stuck, that you didn't take the action that you wanted so much. That growing frustration and agony as an amazing relationship, they just seem to get further and further away. I know you don't want that. That path sucks because we humans are wired to connect, which is why I think you should seriously consider taking road number 2 and just say yes right now. Click the button below, enter your payment information right now before your fear and mental BS get in the way and your stuckness gets in the way. And just take the time right now to enroll in the Open Relationship Blueprint. You get everything we've talked about in this video and my 60-day guarantee, so you're risking nothing. And with the Take Action Now discount, you're literally getting an immediate 50% discount. Let me leave you with one final lesson. Do you know what humans love more than anything? New experiences, curiosity, the ability to see something that they want and take action, which builds confidence. You aren't getting your emotional, physical, and relationship needs so much more than met. If your relationships are going nowhere, now is the time. Just take a tiny, easy decision right now. I've opened your mind. There is everything to gain, and you have suffered long enough feeling stuck inside. To unstick, just click the button below. I personally promise you'll be happy you did. Again, I'm Lawrence Lanoff, and I cannot wait to hear about your incredible success with the Open Relationship Blueprint. Order right now. Click the button below and get your life unstuck.